A staff member says, "Feel free to enjoy," and the person thinks it's free. Until the 1 meter long bill arrives. Have you ever had one of those moments where you completely misread a situation and it ends up costing you big time? Well, gather round, because I have a story that will make you cringe, laugh, and probably feel a little bit better about your own embarrassing moments. This is a story of how a simple, friendly phrase led to the most expensive and unexpected meal of my life. It all started a few weeks ago. I was on a solo trip, exploring a new city. I love traveling alone, you. Get to set your own pace, see what you want to see, and just soak it all in. On this particular day, I'd been walking for hours. My feet were aching, and my stomach was staging a full-blown rebellion. I was starving. I stumbled upon this really fancy-looking hotel. It was one of those places with a grand entrance, a revolving door, and doormen in crisp uniforms. Normally, I'd walk right past a place like that, assuming it was way out of my budget. But this time, something was different. There was a big sign out front. Grand Buffet Launch, a culinary journey around the world. My eyes lit up. A buffet! That's exactly what my rumbling stomach was screaming for. I peeked inside the lobby and it was buzzing with people. Everyone looked so happy, mingling, holding plates piled high with delicious looking food. I thought maybe it's a promotional event. Sometimes hotels do that for a grand opening, right? A little free publicity, a bit of wishful thinking, maybe. But a hungry man can dream. So I decided to be bold. I walked in, trying to look like I belonged there. I strolled through the lobby, acting all casual, and found my way to the restaurant area where the buffet was set up. And oh my goodness, it was a sight to behold. There were endless tables groaning under the weight of food. A seafood station with mountains of oysters, shrimp, and crab legs. A carving station with a huge roast beef. A section for Italian food with at least 10 different kinds of pasta. There was a sushi bar. A dessert table that looked like something out of a fairy tale. And even a chocolate fountain. It was food paradise. My mouth was watering. I was just standing there, kind of stunned, when a very cheerful staff member in a smart uniform came up to me. She had this big, welcoming smile, and she gestured towards the buffet with a flourish. She looked me right in the eye and said, with the utmost sincerity, "Feel free to enjoy." Now, in my head, those 4 words were like a golden ticket. Feel free to enjoy. To my hungry, hopeful brain, that didn't just mean help yourself. It meant this is on the house. It was the confirmation I was looking for. It's a promotional event, and I, lucky me, had stumbled right into it. The staff member was basically inviting me to a free feast. I beamed back at her, gave her a little nod of thanks, and thought, don't mind if I do. I grabbed a plate, and then another. I was like a kid in a candy store. I started with the seafood, piling my plate high with jumbo shrimp and crab claws. Then I moved on to the carving station for a thick slice of roast beef. I tried some of the sushi, a little bit of the pasta, and a few exotic salads I couldn't even name. I was in heaven. The food was incredible. Every bite was better than the last. I was being strategic, pacing myself. I went back for a second plate, and then a third. I wasn't going to let this amazing, free opportunity go to waste. I found a small table in a corner and just savored every moment. I watched the other people all happily eating and felt like I was part of some exclusive club. I found the free hotel buffet club. I felt so smart, so savvy. I even considered getting a dessert plate, but I was so full, I decided to be reasonable. I had enjoyed plenty. So, feeling incredibly satisfied and pleased with myself, I decided it was time to leave. I'd had my fill, and I didn't want to overstay my welcome at this wonderful, generous event. As I stood up, I caught the eye of the same staff member who had greeted me. I gave her another big smile and a thumbs up, trying to convey my gratitude for the amazing free meal. She smiled back and walked over to my table. I thought she was going to ask how I enjoyed the food, or maybe wish me a good day, but instead, she held something in her hand. It was a small, leather-bound folder. She placed it on the table and said, "Here is your bill, sir. I hope you enjoyed everything." I froze. Bill. What bill? My mind went completely blank for a second. I must have misheard her. I looked down at the folder, then back up at her smiling face. My own smile had vanished. I slowly, hesitantly opened the folder, and that's when my heart stopped. Inside wasn't a small slip of paper. It was a bill that seemed to unfold forever. It was long, like comically long. I kept unfolding it and unfolding it until it was practically a meter long. And at the very bottom, in bold, unforgiving numbers, was the total. It was a 3-digit number. A very high 3-digit number. It was more than I had budgeted for my entire week of food on this trip. All the blood drained from my face. I looked from the meter-long bill to the empty plates on my table, and back to the staff member's still pleasant face. "Feel free to enjoy," she had said. It echoed in my head, but now it sounded completely different. It wasn't an invitation to a free meal. It was just a polite, standard restaurant phrase. Like, bon appetit. Petty, it meant feel free to enjoy. All the things you are about to pay a small fortune for. The horror. The embarrassment. I had to somehow pull myself together and pay this astronomical bill for a meal I thought was a freebie. I fumbled for my wallet, my hands shaking. Every person in that restaurant suddenly felt like they were staring at me, at the idiot who thought a 5-star hotel buffet was a free... I paid the bill, mumbled a thank you through gritted teeth, and walked out of that hotel faster than I've ever walked in my life. I didn't even look back. So, the moral of the story is, there's no such thing as a free lunch, especially not at a fancy hotel. And if a staff member ever tells you to feel free to enjoy, maybe just double check what enjoy is going to cost you before you go for your 3rd plate of crab legs. It's a funny story now, but let me tell you, at that moment, facing that meter-long bill, it was anything but. I basically ate my entire travel budget in one sitting. So, have you ever had a misunderstanding that cost you? Let me know in the comments below. I do love to hear your stories, so I do unfeel so alone in my glorious failure. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more of my questionable life choices, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.